Taoiseach, the biggest international issue we're facing, most obviously, is COVID-19 and the pandemic and the impacts it's having across the globe. A vaccine that is safe and effective will be critical in exiting this current crisis. But if the rollout of a safe, effective vaccine is going to work, there's a number of key things that have to happen. Number one is the profit motive has to be removed completely from the rollout of the vaccine. And that means that intellectual property and patent rights, which are about protecting the technology for the vaccine in order that those companies can make profit, have to be waived. And I note that the government intends to give indemnity to the pharma companies around this. So we're going to underwrite if there's any problems with the vaccine. What's the quid pro quo? Well, the quid pro quo should be that all intellectual property rights are waived, that the raw data is published, because we need honesty, humility and transparency in the rollout of this vaccine if we're going to win people to taking the vaccine. And there should be no question of those pharma companies using patent or intellectual property rules in order to safeguard profits at the expense of the rollout of the vaccine, not just in this country but across the world. Because if poor countries do not get it, it potentially will undermine the efficacy of the vaccine.
Thank you, Deputy.
In relation to COVID-19 and the vaccine that Deputy Boyd Barrett raised, governments do not produce vaccines, governments do not produce medicines. Government don't either have the capital wherewithal to do it and haven't engaged in it historically. The important difference here that I have seen personally, both as Taoiseach now and as former Minister for Health at the time of the SARS epidemic, has been the far greater degree of coordination at international level and particularly at European Union level with the private sector. I know you hate the word profit, you hate the word private sector, that I understand. But that ideology cannot get in the way. That cannot get in the way of getting vaccines and making vaccines, get them produced, get them researched at an unprecedented pace and rate. And the pre-purchase agreements have been essential to enabling the capital provisions and the funding provisions that will underpin the production of the vaccines. There are no guarantees when vaccines are being researched and produced and manufactured. So this is a collaboration, yes, between the private sector and the public sector at an international level, both within Europe and in the United States. But when you consider the trillions of euros that governments have spent all over the world in underpinning their economies, the expenditure involved here is a fraction of all of that,
Taoiseach.
Yet would be far more effective in getting our economies back up and running and people back to work than anything else.
Thank you, Taoiseach.